Hello, dear friends. I want to invite you to join me on a truly thrilling and life transforming trip. A trip into the heart, the sacred heart of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has played a very profound role in the depths of my life. When I was 23, I was a lost, tortured academic. I was a fellow of all souls, a paid up member of the British elite, and I was miserable. And one Sunday afternoon, I was watching television and saw a Sri Lankan monk do his walking meditation. And the immensity of the peace that radiated from him pierced my heart. And although at the time I was an atheist, I knew that I was before something I had never seen before and did not recognize, but knew was real. 2 years later, I went to Sri Lanka and spent 4 months there, staying with a family. In that family, I met an extraordinary old woman who had been the lover and mistress and wife of many important Sri Lankan grandees, and who was herself a profoundly suffering Buddhist who really wanted to achieve liberation. We fell deeply spiritually in love, and I toured all of Sri Lanka in her battered Chevrolet, and out of our communion, I wrote my first novel called One Last Mirror, which, if you read it, you'll see is soaked with the beauty and the splendor of Sri Lankan's sacred past and sacred present. Sri Lanka is quite simply the most beautiful part of the world that I've ever seen, with Bali. It has every kind of beauty: beach beauty, forest beauty, hill beauty, desert beauty. It is a place that is, for all its small size, absolutely comprehensive in its revelation of the glory of the embodied Godhead. And going to Sri Lanka and plunging into Sri Lanka is a surefire way of renewing your faith in life and your hope for life. What I encountered in those 4 months in Sri Lanka was Buddhism in its purest original essence. I had gone to India at 25 to explore all the Buddhist sites because I'd begun to wake up. And I found in Buddhism the perfect recipe for the misery I was facing. Because Buddhism, as you know, is far more in a way than a religion. It is a science of the soul, and the Buddha was a scientist of the spirit, and that's one of the reasons why Buddhism has had such an impact on the West. In Sri Lanka, you find alive the original Hinayana Buddhism. And over the years, I've had the great good fortune to study with several Hinayana masters, including Ruwanweliseya, a great Burmese master, and to read deeply in the early Buddhist texts and to acquire for my own use the major Buddhist practices of that time. I also worked with the Dalai Lama to co-write the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying for Sogyo Rinpoche, a whole host of glorious Tibetan masters. And that book, as you know, has become a global bestseller and introduced Tibetan Mahayana wisdom to the world. So what I will be offering as part of our wonderful journey to the glorious ancient Buddhist cities of Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa, which are quite simply, with Angkor and Pagan, the supreme examples of the high, refined Buddhist culture, supreme examples of what a culture can create. We'll be going to the beaches, we'll be going to the wonderful places like Kandy and Norelia, all the glorious sites of Sri Lanka. And all through this journey, I will be offering you the latest discoveries about the original Buddhism, the most powerful practices from Hinayana Buddhism, and the most powerful practices that I have ever found, which are the Mahayana Buddhist practices of Tonglen and Poa. So it'll be a glorious feast of Buddhist practices that will thread like a golden thread all the revelations of natural beauty and all the revelations of spiritual and cultural beauty that Sri Lanka can offer us at this tragic and amazing moment we find ourselves. Nothing, my friends, is more important than being inspired at this moment. As things get obviously darker, we must stand more importantly and grandly and wildly and calmly and humbly in the light. And Sri Lanka remains, for all the tortured history that it's been through recently, remains a beacon of beauty and light and power and tolerance in the world. So come with me on this trip that has been so carefully and exquisitely crafted by Sacred Earth Journeys and myself to offer you everything you could possibly want. Stay in a spa, an Ayurvedic spa, where you'll be able to appreciate the holiness of your body, and a visit to all of the sacred sites, including certain Hindu sites that are there, so that you can truly appreciate the depth and range and power and passion of the spirituality that Sri Lanka keeps alive. Thank you so much. I can't wait to meet you.